You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. In today's video, we're going to break down some training camp battles that I think all Giants fans should look forward to, as training camp is almost already underway. I mean, it was a couple of days ago that the rookies reported to East Rutherford. The veterans will report on July 25th, and then just one day later, the first practice of training camp is going to get going underway. It is July 21st as we film this video. We are 5 days away from the first practice of training camp rolling around. And I want to do a lot of training camp content on this channel. I just love talking actual football. If you want us to do daily training camp updates, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon right now. The first position battle that I'm going to have my eyes very close to and I'm going to be monitoring is the inside linebacker number 2 position. As we know, Jared Davis is not going to be able to play this season. He has gone on the IR. He has a torn ACL. He will not play. So you're going to have a competition between a couple of guys that don't really have many NFL reps under their belt. Micah McFadden. He's probably the leader in that clubhouse. He had 59 tackles in his rookie year, 6 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. Bobby Okereke, the free agent acquisition for the Giants at the linebacker spot, was really complimentary of how McFadden has looked so far this offseason. Carter Coughlin, more of a special teamer, as is Cam Brown. So the guy Micah McFadden is going to have to compete with is Darian Beavers, the 6th-round selection out of Cincinnati back in the 2022 NFL Draft. He looked really good in camp last year. He looked really good in the preseason before he had that torn ACL. So I believe it's going to come down to Darian Beavers versus Micah McFadden as to who is going to rise to the occasion and be that number 2 inside linebacker on this roster and for Wink Martindale next to Bobby Okereke. I'll ask you, though, pick one of these guys to start. With Davis out and a hole needed to be filled, who's going to do it? Will it be McFadden? Will it be Beavers? Type MF or DB for the guy you're rocking with. The second position battle that I'm going to be looking for is the strong safety position. I believe the Giants have a really good safety, and I know they have a really good safety in Xavier McKinney. I really like what he's done in his NFL career outside of hurting his hand in vacation on the bye week in Mexico. But the strong safety position is currently up in the air, right? Dane Belton was really good as a rookie. I think with more reps, he could be the starting safety. Gervarius Owens has looked really good in training camp. In mini camp, rookie camp as well. He's maybe a sneaky play to be the starter. And then he signed Bobby McCain in NFL free agency to kind of be that Julian Love replacement, because Bobby McCain can really do it all. He's played corner. He's played slot corner. He's played deep safety. He's played free safety. He's been able to do a couple of different things in the NFL that makes him extremely versatile. He's a guy that can play all over the football field, and he's someone that I think is going to bring some leadership and some veteranism to this football team. Last year, he had 76 tackles, 5 passes defended, 3 tackles for loss, and 69.5 coverage grade from PFF. But I thought what was really appealing for McCain and why Wink Martindale was a fan of his, as he spent the last 2 seasons with the Washington Commanders, you can see that he lines up all over the field. In 2022, he lined up deep 36% of the time, in the box 21% of the time, and was primarily a nickel corner. But in the prior year, in 2021, the percentage of plays that he lined up in the deep part of the field was 78. The box where he lined up was 12, and the nickel it's 10, which was similar. I would say 2021 and 2020 was similar, but he completely changed his role in the 2022 season. I'm going to keep my eyes, though, on the 7th-round draft pick, Gervarius Owens, out of the University of Houston. 74 tackles for the Cougs last year, 1 tackle for loss, 1 interception, 8 pass breakups. He definitely has some special teams ability in his bag, but he's definitely a guy that's got to get more polished, I would say, as a player. But he has a lot of potential, and I would not be surprised if he is a starter at the end of the season. Who do you think is going to be the starting safety, though, next to Xavier McKinney. You think it's going to be Dane Belton, type D? I think it's going to be Jason Pinnock, who filled in for McKinney when he hurt his hand, type J. If you're rolling with Bobby McCain, the newcomer, type M. Or if you think Javarius Owens, the rook, could be the guy, I want you to type O in the comment section. The other position battle that I'm going to be watching in training camp is the slot corner position. That was an area where the Giants really struggled last year. They had a whole bunch of people play that position. And right now, I believe training camp rolls around. Darnay Holmes will probably roll in as the starter, but that job is written in pencil with a huge eraser on it because it is not written in pen. Cordell Flott is going to compete in that position. Aaron Robinson is going to compete for that position. Nick McLeod is going to compete for that position. Holmes, albeit has been decent since he's entered the NFL after coming out of UCLA, he's a guy that I think is replaceable. He just gets flagged too often. Too many holding penalties. Can't really cover quicker and faster guys, and he struggles against bigger guys. I would not be shocked if he loses that starting role to maybe a guy like Cordell Flott, who had a really big play in the playoff games against the Minnesota Vikings. You could say that was the game-saving play. If you remember, it was KJ Osborne on 3rd and long prior to the dump down to TJ Hawkinson where he was stopped by Xavier McKinney that Cordell Flott came up with that big pass breakup. Another guy that I'm looking at, though, is Aaron Robinson. Remember, he played really well for the Giants back in the 2021-22 season, came back in the 2023 season, and he struggled a little bit early on and then ran into some injuries. But I'm not counting him out of this competition whatsoever. It's going to be a fun one to watch as camp unfolds. The next position I'm going to be watching for is the left guard position. Left tackle is going to be Andrew Thomas. Your center is going to be John Michael Schmitz. Your right guard is going to be Mark Lewinsky. Your right tackle will be Evan Neal. But it's going to come down to Ben Bredeson and the top 70 pick out of North Carolina from the 2022 draft and Josh Ezeudu. Ezeudu is a good player, no doubt about it, but he definitely struggled a little bit as a rookie. But since he was a top 70 selection in the draft, I want to see him get this job. You don't want those guys picked inside the top 100 to be starting for your football team. But Ben Bredeson is probably the better player right now. He's still young, not as young as Ezeudu, but he's someone that can continue to get better, and he started before and played at a higher clip, according to PFF last year. Who do you think should be the starter, though? I want to hear from you. Type BB for Ben Bredeson. Type JE for Joshua Ezeudu. Let me know what you think down below. The last position group I'm watching for is not who's going to be wide receiver 1, not who's going to be the slot receiver. What 6 wide receivers are going to make the team for the New York Giants? With the Giants going out and adding Cole Beasley in NFL free agency, this loaded room gets even more loaded. Isaiah Hodgins, Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, Jalen Hyatt, Jamison Crowder, Cole Beasley, Colin Johnson, Bryce Ford-Wheaton, David Sills, Jeff Smith. This Giants wide receiver room is packed, no doubt about it. And I don't know if the Giants are going to sign 6 players. I don't know if keep 6 wide receivers. If the Giants are going to keep 7 wide receivers. If I had to bet, I would say the Giants probably keep 6, but would not be shocked if they kept 7. Something that they're going to have to think about going into the season is, will Wan'Dale Robinson and will Sterling Shepard be ready to go week 1? And if they're not, they're going to start the season on the PUP list. If they do start the season on the PUP list, I can see the Giants keeping 7 wide receivers. That being Hodgins, Hyatt, Campbell, Crowder, Beasley, Slayton, and Colin Johnson. But let's say Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson are healthy. They're ready to go week 1. I believe this will be the 6 receivers they keep and potentially keeping a 7th. But I think 6 is probably the sweeter spot with Hodgins, Robinson, Campbell, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, and Jalen Hyatt. This wide receiver room is packed. It is going to be awesome competition for the New York Giants. That's what they needed. Joe Schoen saw a weakness last year. He knows this team struggled and got banged up, and they were razor thin. That's why they had to sign Marcus Johnson and Isaiah Hodgins. Thankfully, Hodgins is a really good player. But the Giants, they're going to have a lot of competition, and competition brings out the dog in some of these players. So what 6 wide receivers do you think are going to make the roster for the New York Giants? I want to hear from you guys. Let me know. Put on your GM hat and predict it. What 6 wide receivers make the roster? As always, just want to say thank you guys, and I appreciate you for tuning in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. Love getting to do this show every single day because we got the best damn fans in the world. If you want to talk more ball, hit me up on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_.